What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be working on the shop truck. We're going to be putting an updated ignition system in there, as well as doing a lot of interior stuff. I've been pretty busy lately with all these projects. Obviously we got the Chevy going on, and in between that I've been kind of working on the truck to kind of get it up and running, and also working on a square body, which I haven't been putting on YouTube just because there's just so much going on and it's outside. It's freezing cold. So today I'm going to spend a little bit of time and kind of update you guys on the F100. I've gotten all the interior gutted out of there, and I've been doing some seat covers that are nearly done. I got to do like some sewing to put some little rods on there that you can attach with the hog rings and everything, which I'll show you guys how all that works. But I wanted to get a nice comfortable seat that obviously looked pretty good because the last one was not good. So I just kind of wanted to get everything updated and put a newer style ignition system in there. That way I'm not messing around with the points anymore. I wanted to maintain the factory look of the truck. With the points that are currently in there, obviously your options are limited, but there's one really good option, and it is the Ignitor III by Pertronix. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so basically this Ignitor III by Pertronix, this is going to kind of just screw in place of where your normal points would go. But as you can see right here, ignition box performance without the box. So basically this whole unit hides inside the cap of your points. And here's the big thing: multiple sparks to red line. So it improved combustion and stuff like that. That's obviously what you're going to get with this. Another really cool feature of this is that little screw right there. You can see the minus and the plus next to the LED indicator. Basically, that is a rev limiter. So basically you set what you want your rev limiter to be at. The LED will flash a certain amount of times to confirm that it's been set correctly. And this literally just goes right in place of where your points are. So with this, you obviously have to have a certain type of coil. So we also have the Flamethrower 3 coil. This is the recommended coil that goes with this Ignitor 3 module. And this is it. There's a little couple leads that you have to attach, but very easy conversion, and it prevents you from having to worry about your points while also increasing your ignition system capabilities. What you're going to do is you're going to see a little C-clip right here, and basically you just pull the little C-clip off. That'll get your vacuum advance removed. So you'll just take that little arm out, and then those two screws here obviously, but then you obviously take the rotor off, and then you're going to take your points out and just put those aside. It's probably a good idea just to keep them just for the heck of it, but essentially this just screws down in here. They provide you with the hardware, so you want to make sure that you've got your ground wire hooked up to this mounting screw, and then over here underneath this surface over here there's a flathead because it's like countersunk. That way this can pivot. So that's all hooked up. Run your wires through here, and then all you do is you just put the new coil in place of your factory one. You're going to hook up your positive wire to the positive side of your coil, and then obviously the negative to the negative side of the coil. Super simple install. All right, guys, so after the Pertronix kit was installed, I went ahead and gave it a little start. Everything went really good, and I'll show you that it's running now. Obviously it's not going to be a cold start, but I forgot to set the camera up. So then I moved on to the upholstery. So basically I've been redoing the seat covers over the last like week or so, and again, learning process for me. So I'm not gonna act like I'm a professional, but I do have another video where I attempted it the first time. It went okay. This time was better. So I'm a firm believer that anything that you want to learn, you can learn as long as you give it enough time. So basically I took what was already on the bench seat and I cut the seat cover off of it. And along all of the stitched parts, I just essentially cut right along all those sewn lines, and I laid every single piece out. So I was going to replicate the seat cover that was on there, or the old seat cover. It's not a factory seat cover, but I was going to replicate the seat cover just piece by piece and sew it all together and then hope for the best. I got everything sewn together and I made my covers. So then the covers I then put onto the seats and I attached them with some hog rings and some wire because I ran out of hog rings. So I just used regular wire and just kind of secured it like that. So with all that being said, I'm going to show you the final product. All right, so I thought this turned out pretty good. And the back is pulled nice and tight. I haven't hit this with like a steamer or anything to try to get some of the wrinkles out or anything, but the back of the bottom cover here, I pulled it nice and tight. The only part I didn't go crazy on was the front, because obviously you're going to sit here and it's going to cause all this fabric to move and stretch, and it's extremely cold right now. So if I was to secure it, if it was to heat up, then I'm assuming this fabric has a little bit of a stretch to it. It felt like it. So I didn't want to go too crazy. I'd rather let the seat kind of like get worn in and then go through here on the front side and grab everything and secure it tighter and get rid of the stuff like that. I do have a new cheapo headliner thing I'm getting ready to put back in here. Let's go ahead and verify that this is going to start. I do not have the throttle linkage hooked up, so hopefully this will just go. Yeah. So it's running really good. As you can hear, it's really smooth. The throttle response is really nice and crisp. There's no hesitation or anything. So it might be a little noisy in here. Real good throttle response. Normally you get some stubbling and hesitation off of wide open throttle or as soon as you hit it. So, but this is running really good. So the last thing to get it back to drivable is just to hook up the throttle linkages, because I'm going to go a little bit different than the factory ones. All right guys, so as far as getting this thing on the road, very close, very, very close. However, the gas pedal that I was talking about earlier in the video, basically there's a rod that goes like through the floor pan and up into the engine compartment. And then there's some linkages and stuff to take it through like to the throttle arm of the carburetor. So the problem is, it's just like the gas pedal is like swinging left and right, which that's not supposed to happen. Basically, there's a little plate that's got like a little coupler around it with a bushing inside of it. And that's where the rod goes through, and it then like transfers out into the engine bay. So that's like broken off of the floor or the firewall. It's kind of a mix. It's like right there where the firewall and the floor meet. So I'll probably have to either bolt that plate back down or weld it back down, but it's just moving all over the place. So I'm going to do that off camera, and this thing will be ready for the road. A couple other quick little updates here. We have parts rolling in for the 56 Chevy. We have the trunk pan right here with all the supports and stuff already welded to the bottom of it. And then right here we have the entire floor pan of the passenger compartment of the car. So that whole project will obviously be completed on this channel. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out that playlist, because it's just getting started as of the making of this video. If you're watching this later, there might be a bunch of videos on there, but there's going to be a huge playlist of all different videos for the 56 Chevy, and start to finish, we have officially decided that we are going to LS swap it. So I know that might offend some people, but that's fine. 56 Chevy and an LS, I think that'd make a great couple. If you guys are interested in the Pertronix III, I'll leave a link to it in the description. However, if you're not putting it in a similar application as this, it might be on a different base plate. So make sure that you go to like the application of where, if you're ordering it through Summit Racing, make sure you go through the applications and make sure that it's going to actually fit your car. Basically what I've seen them do is like they'll take the same exact module, they'll just place it onto a different base plate. That way you can fit it in several different applications. So same module, different base plate though. So make sure that you go through the steps and make sure it's a good fit for your engine. Another thing real quick, if you have a resistor wire or a like a ballast resistor on your car or truck, if that's being used to supply the power to your coil or your ignition, make sure that you bypass that, because these want 12 volts, full 12 volts. So the best thing to do is go straight from the key, which obviously my truck was set up without a resistor on it, so I didn't have to worry about that. Definitely check these guys out. They're super affordable, very cheap upgrade for your ignition system, and it's at a fraction of a price of running a big MSD box. Which, by the way, speaking of MSD box, I was doing a video for the Nova and I installed an MSD 6A box. It was mounted right here. You can still see the dust print from it. Mounted that thing up and it didn't work. So, and it's nothing on MSD. I bought it used and wasn't told about it not working, but it doesn't work. So I had to send that back. So there will be a video coming out very soon on the Nova whenever that returns, and I'll get that started up. But anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because there's tons of stuff going on. It's ridiculous. If you're watching this before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and all your families. And I will catch you guys in the next video.